They speak.
Good evening, I'm Pallavi Ghosh. Our big focus, of course, remains the battle for Bengal. Will Bengal see a saffron surge? The Home Minister has been on a two-day visit to West Bengal. Well, there's big news coming in. Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken exclusively to Network 18. He's spoken to CNN News 18, and he's confident that Bengal will vote for change in 2021. In fact, he said that BJP is going to an absolutely clear majority in the 2021 assembly elections, and in fact will also form the government in the state. Let's listen in to him.
हमारे साथ देश के गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी हैं। अमित शाह जी, ये रोड शो में और पश्चिमी मिदनापुर की रैली में जो जनसैलाब आपने देखा, आप कह रहे थे कि जिस तरह से भगदड़ मची है तृणमूल कांग्रेस में, ममता दीदी अकेली बच जाएंगी अगले चुनाव तक।
देखिए, जो जनसैलाब है वो बंगाल की जनता का मिजाज बताता है। आज लाखों की भीड़ इस रोड शो पे दिखाई पड़ती है। जहां तक नजर पड़े लोग ही लोग दिखाई पड़ते हैं। यही बताता है कि आने वाले दिनों में मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार यहां बनने जा रही है।
अमित जी, आप लगातार कहते रहे हैं कि राजनीतिक हत्याएं हो रही हैं पश्चिम बंगाल में। क्या आपकी सरकार बनेगी तो इस तरह की हत्याओं की जांच आप लोग करेंगे, इस बारे में कदम उठाएंगे ताकि आपके कार्यकर्ताओं को न्याय मिले?
सबसे पहले तो हम किसी की भी राजनीतिक हत्या न हो, ऐसा वातावरण, अच्छा वातावरण सुनिश्चित करेंगे और जांच भी जरूर की जाए।
सर, कितने और नेता संपर्क में हैं तृणमूल कांग्रेस के? क्योंकि आप कह रहे थे भगदड़ की स्थिति है तृणमूल कांग्रेस में और 6 विधायक, एक शुभेंदु अधिकारी को आपने ज्वाइन भी करवा लिया।
मेरे साथ कोई संपर्क नहीं।
अच्छा सर, एक सवाल मेरा यह है कि कई राज्यों में आप मुख्यमंत्री का चेहरा प्रोजेक्ट करते हैं, कई में नहीं करते हैं। क्या यहाँ का चुनाव प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी के चेहरे पर ही होगा या लोकल लीडरशिप भी आप आगे करेंगे?
पार्लियामेंट्री बॉडीज पर उचित निर्णय करें।
सर, आपके कई नेताओं ने कहा कि सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट जनवरी से लागू करेंगे पश्चिम बंगाल में। इस बारे में सर गृह मंत्री भी हैं, आपका क्या कहना है सर?
ये रोड शो में ऐसी बातें नहीं होती।
Shogato Mukhopadhyay, who's been tracking the Home Minister's visit, is also now joining us. Shogato, we've just heard what the Home Minister had to tell Network 18 a short while back. What do you make of it?
Well, of course, it's a great shot in the arm for the Home Minister himself, given the fact that he has been, visiting Bengal off and on, and he would be, increasing the frequency of his visit in the days to come. That's what we have been given to understand by the BJP leadership over here in Bengal as well as in the centre. But the fact is that, he held 2 great rallies in two consecutive days. First, of course, was in Midnapur yesterday, where the Midnapur College ground, which is a pretty big one, was full of people, almost filled to capacity, where he made that great show of Shubhendu Adhikari and other leaders join the BJP from the other political parties, especially the Trinamool Congress, and now today in Bolpur, this rally, that the roadshow that he participated in, it was basically a 1.2 kilometer stretch that the vehicle travelled, but it took about an hour, a little more than an hour, to cover that small little distance. That gives an estimate of the kind of people who had turned out. Obviously, all of these have made the Home Minister very, very happy, and obviously he is looking forward to this as a sign that the BJP is increasing its foothold in areas which are not known to be BJP strongholds, which are known to be Trinamool Congress strongholds, Midnapur and today Bolpur. So obviously that's a great bit of encouragement for the Home Minister.
And also a part of a strategy, a part of a carefully thought out strategy perhaps. Shogato Payal in fact is following the Home Minister. Payal, the point which Shogato was making, there are political parties who are very, very careful when they want to do these kind of road shows or rallies because they don't want to trade into the strongholds of other political parties or their main opponents. But this time the BJP has decided to go into a heart of what many would see as a TMC stronghold or a bastion. You think that's going to be the style here on of the BJP, daring on Mamata Banerjee openly?
Pallavi, the BJP has actually seen a window of opportunity. They do realize that there possibly could be a window of opportunity for them, given the fact that Mamata is looking at anti-incumbency. Mamata is looking at a lot of disgruntlement within her party itself as well. So I think that the BJP is going to assert itself not just here but in multiple other places where, especially those areas where they're actually weak. And there are certain portions where they're actually weak in terms of the performance. They haven't done really all that well. And in the coming days, weeks and months, you will see them doing more and more of that as well. And that's pretty much on the cards. You'll see more visits by central minister. You see Amit Shah, JP Nada, all of these leaders, come down to Bengal every now and then as well to try and, create a positioning for the BJP itself, because, BJP would like to, have that unfinished agenda of having a government in Bengal happen.
Okay. Shogato, just as you and I and all of us are tracking the Amit Shah visit to West Bengal, I'm sure the Trinamool Congress and Mamata Banerjee, most probably herself, is tracking the visit. What must she be feeling now? I mean, do they have now a change in their plan or a counter political strategy in place? What are you picking up from your sources?
Well, first up, Mamata Banerjee will try and extend her support beyond her party, the domain of her own party support. Already, Mamata Banerjee has begun extending her political arm to some of the opposition parties across the country. We have in this issue of federalism, she has given out a tweet today, sent out a tweet in which she thanked leaders like Kejriwal, leaders like Stalin, so on and so forth across the country, to sort of build a concerted effort against the BJP. That's one strategy, obviously. The second, of course, is there is this meeting, that phone call that took place between Mamata Banerjee and Sharad Pawar, a short while back, probably late last evening, in which Sharad Pawar not only spoke about the possibility of making the anti-farm law agitation more widespread and more intense with Mamata Banerjee's help, but also inquired into the state of affairs in the political situation here in Bengal. Mamata Banerjee obviously wants to take that opportunity to build it as a larger political conglomerate taking on the BJP, and there is a possibility, Pallavi, that we are getting to know from the Trinamool sources that Mamata Banerjee is of course planning another of those opposition rallies in Kolkata in the month of January.
That would be interesting.
Shows, but counter shows is something. Absolutely, and shows and counter shows, Pallavi, would be the order of the day as far as the political scenario is concerned. The colors of politics in Bengal will only keep blooming from here on to much larger domains. The only hope is that it doesn't get murkier and ugly in terms of the violence that we keep seeing happening.
Okay. Shokata, I'm just going to have to interrupt you in here because there's one news which is just coming in. There's a development. Let's go to it. Okay, there is this tweet which has come in from the Home Minister Amit Shah. This is just after he completed his roadshow. He says, and I quote him, "These pictures clearly reflect that the people of West Bengal have decided to wipe out the corrupt Trinamool Congress government." Just to put it into perspective, these pictures actually he's referring to is the huge crowds when he was both in Bolpur today and he was of course at the Midnapur rally yesterday, and as Shogata was pointing out, both of them happen to be the bastion, and therefore he's decided to go into the heart of the Trinamool Congress strongholds as well. Payal is tracking the Home Minister. Payal, just to go through what tweet he has tweeted a short while back, you think it's now soon going to be followed up by visits more by him and of course by the Prime Minister? That could be a turnaround moment also for West Bengal politics? Payal, okay, we're just going to try and connect with her. Shogato, I'm just referring to the tweet. I mean, you must have seen the huge crowds which are there around, the Home Minister's roadshow. Would you think these crowds would be making Mamata Banerjee uncomfortable?
Well, you see, first up, let me tell you that the turnout at the roadshow today in Bolpur has obviously emboldened the Home Minister himself. That's the cause of happiness, that he has made no intentions of hiding even during the roadshow, where he said that I have never attended a roadshow like this in my life. Obviously, I am not so sure of that, because I very clearly remember in 2019, right ahead of the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, a similar roadshow was held by the BJP in which Amit Shah himself participated, and that happened in Kolkata. And if you remember, remember, Pallavi, it was the same roadshow which led to that violence following Amit Shah, passing through the College Street area in central Kolkata, where eventually the statue of Vidyasagar got vandalized in the violence that ensued. Obviously, that was also a mega roadshow that Amit Shah held in Kolkata. Although the BJP, of course, had great results in the 2019 state, the Lok Sabha elections compared to how it was faring earlier in the Lok Sabha polls from Bengal, 18 out of the 42 seats. But it is also a fact, Pallavi, that in Kolkata and the areas where Amit Shah held that rally, the results were not too encouraging for his party. So obviously, the idea is to not just get these people at road shows, not just get these people to look at take a look at the leaders, central leaders who hardly visit areas like
Shogato, when you talked about the central leaders. When you talk about the central leaders, the crux of Mamata Banerjee, the Trinamool Congress's attack on the BJP is precisely this, that these are those tourist netas. They are all rank outsiders. Shuvendu Adhikari touched upon that point yesterday at the Midnapur rally by saying that we are Indian first and Bengalis next. How do you think that the BJP is going to plan to counter this perception which Mamata Banerjee and the TMC is trying to build up?
Well, BJP is already countering the outsiders debate that the Trinamool Congress has been, trying to launch for so far. And one way of countering it is, the ways and means that, say, for example, leaders like Amit Shah have been trying to do, reaching out to the grassroots, having lunch at the local residents, at the local people's residents, party workers. Today he had a lunch at a Baul artist's, residence. A humble lunch over there, a sumptuous one, a delicate. There were delicacies, local Bengali flavors, which were presented to him. Who he had great, enthusiastically had that food. But the point is that he also wants to give out that message that I am here, right in the middle of you, and I'm trying to reach out to you at the grassroots where it matters the most, and it emboldens not just the party cadres, but also the leaders who are representing the party in those levels.
You've also been reporting that how the Trinamool Congress is, for example, I think it was Shudip Bandyopadhyay who was singing Rabindra Sangeet at his house in Kolkata, and also how they are now saying that they don't even respect Tagore. They're putting up pictures and posters of Amit Shah being above Rabindranath Tagore's photographs, and so on and so forth. Is this now going to be Bengali pride, Bengali culture kind of an argument or narrative which is going to be pushed by the TMC against the BJP? Do you see this as a part of their strategy?
Absolutely, and this is turning out to be one of the key agendas in the 2021 state elections. Outsider versus insider, legacy versus, say, for example, little understanding of history and tradition, so on and so forth. What we saw as far as the Trinamool Congress is concerned today, the Trinamool Congress chose the very day in which Amit Shah, the Home Minister of the country, a top BJP leader, was at the very place where Tagore spent his entire working life at, where Vishwabharati is Rabindranath Tagore's brainchild. He spent most of his working years in Vishwabharati, and the point is that on a similar day that Amit Shah was visiting that place, Trinamool Congress and a leader like Shudip Bandyopadhyay, who heads the party in the Lok Sabha, goes to Jorashako Thakurbari in central Kolkata and sits in a silent demonstration, arguing that the BJP has little understanding of Tagore's legacy, that they have disrespected Rabindranath Tagore, by saying things like Tagore was born in Shantiniketan and so on and so forth, which is a distortion of history, and also singing Rabindranath songs, Rabindra Sangeet from the stage. Shudip Bandyopadhyay, I don't know, Pallavi, you've been covering Parliament for so long. Have you ever heard Shudip Bandyopadhyay singing Rabindra Sangeet ever anywhere? But he was there today, singing in front of the great number of people. So obviously, this is an attempt to establish the roots and culture, and it's also a desperation that is showing not just on part of the BJP but also on part of the Trinamool Congress.
And we all know,
that is how we can say that both sides are taking this matter very
Tagore means for all of Bengal and all of us Bengalis. Thank you very much, Shaukat. Of course, I'm going to keep coming back to you. The battle for Bengal, in fact, I would say has just about begun. Shifting focus to the Prime Minister, it was an unscheduled visit. Prime Minister Modi visited the Rakab Ganj Sahib Gurudwara in the national capital. He paid his tributes to Guru Teg Bahadur for his supreme sacrifice. He bowed his head at the Gurudwara in light of the Guru Teg Bahadur's death anniversary yesterday. He tweeted, and the Prime Minister said that on Shri Guru Teg Bahadurji's life epitomized courage and compassion. He also recalled Guru Teg Bahadurji for a just and inclusive society as he sought the blessings of the Sikh Guru. Prime Minister has called for celebrating the ideals of Shri Guru Teg Bahadurji on the occasion. It was an impromptu visit like this to the Gurudwara, which is being seen as a way to connect with the agitating farmers from Punjab and who have been agitating in the national capital region.
In an unscheduled visit, PM Narendra Modi visited Gurudwara Rakab Ganj Sahib to pay tributes to the 9th Sikh Guru, Guru Teg Bahadur. Guru Teg Bahadur's death anniversary was observed on Saturday. Well, the 9th Sikh Gurus' mortal remains were consigned to flames here at Gurudwara Rakab Ganj Sahib, and the PM's visit on Sunday assumes significance as the farmers' protests across the borders continue against the contentious agrarian laws.
Maria Shakil is also joining us on the phone line. This was an early morning visit, Maria, but again, very politically significant and a political messaging.
Absolutely, Pallavi. And this visit, because there was no disruption of traffic that happened, and the Prime Minister, in fact, prayed with other devotees. Because Sikhism, Pallavi, importantly believes in that one who prays with me is my brother. So with that message, I think at a time when those protesting farmers are lively from the state of Punjab, the messaging is that he has taken a tough call on farm laws, but he continues to show solidarity, continues to reach out to them at a very, very spiritual level. So I think this visit is assuming significance even as the Prime Minister and his party and the government continues its outreach to the farmers through multiple channels, be it releasing those booklets, Pallavi, in multiple languages, Hindi, Punjabi and other languages to reach out to the farmers. And also the reach out is happening when the Prime Minister himself addressed them, talking about the benefits of the legislation, and at the same time attacking the Congress party for saying that, you know, you made promises in the past related to farm loan waiver, but failed to really implement it. This is something that he has done for the farmers of India, and that all should support him.
All right, Maria, thank you very much for giving us the political significance of the Prime Minister's visit to the Gurudwara. In fact, the Gyani Hardyal Singh from the Rakab Ganj Gurudwara also told us that the Prime Minister, in fact, stayed inside for about 10 minutes. He also gives us the details of the Prime Minister's sudden visit.
हरदयाल सिंह जी बताइए कि प्रधानमंत्री यहाँ पर कितने बजे आए, कितनी देर तक रहे गुरुद्वारे में?
तकरीबन प्रधानमंत्री जी 8:30 बजे के करीब आए हैं। 10 मिनट रुके हैं वहाँ, तो उन्होंने आके मत्था टेक उन्होंने जो रुमाला साहब है, गुरु साहब जी को रुमाला भेंट किया। तो हमने फिर उनको सरोपा, जो गुरु घर की मर्यादा है जो हमारी, जो भी आता है उनको हम सरोपा वगैरह देते हैं दिल्ली से गुरुद्वारा प्रबंधक कमेटी की तरफ से। हम तो बैठे थे, तभी हमको एकदम अचानक से पता चला प्रधानमंत्री जी आ रहे हैं, मत्था टेक रहे हैं। जब मत्था टेक रहे हैं तभी हमको पता लगा मैं मत्था टेक रहे हैं प्रधानमंत्री जी। हमको कोई जानकारी किसी ने नहीं दी, हमको नहीं जानकारी कोई मिली। जब अंदर आ गए तो हमको पता लगा प्रधानमंत्री जी आए हैं।
Okay, it's not just in Bengal. Elections are also there in Tamil Nadu, and it's already becoming a high-pitched political battle which is brewing in the southern state. Chief Minister E. Palaniswamy, in fact, has kicked off his election campaign already for the 2021 assembly polls. He addressed a rally in Salem, and he also announced a special Pongal bonanza for over 2 crore people. The Pongal gift hamper consists of 2,500 rupees, 1 kg rice, 1 kg sugar and sugarcane. EPS has already been declared the AIA-DMK's chief ministerial candidate for the upcoming state elections. Meanwhile, Actor turned politician Kamal Haasan will begin the second phase of his campaign from today. He's going to campaign for 2 days in Kanchipuram and Villupuram. While veteran actor Rajnikant's party, Rajni Makai Mandiram, has been asked to prepare the booth committee list by 25th of December.
It's clear that the AIADMK, which is currently ruling in Tamil Nadu, wants to make it clear to the people abundantly that it's back in the fight, back in the reckoning as far as this election is concerned, because it was routed, remember, in the Lok Sabha election just a few months back. And now, nearly 20-25 days ahead of the Pongal festival, we are having this announcement from the Chief Minister saying that they would be doling out cold hard cash to ration card holders, 2 crore 6 lakh of them across Tamil Nadu for the Pongal festival from 4th January onwards. The DMK has already hit out at the AIADMK saying that this is not being done with any public interest in mind. It is only being done with self-interest of the AIADMK in mind, with an eye on the election.
Okay, shifting focus to some COVID news. More than 16 million Britons will now have to stay home as Prime Minister Boris Johnson has announced fresh curbs in London. Rapid transmission of a newly discovered variant of COVID in London and nearby areas has prompted the UK government to put the capital under a complete lockdown. All relaxations which had been announced by the government for Christmas have now been cancelled. The new variant of the virus is as lethal as the original version, and the World Health Organization has been informed of this development. The new curbs will mean that people will have to stay at home. However, many London residents have taken to the streets who are protesting against this complete imposition of lockdown.
It seems that the spread is now being driven by the new variant of the virus, which we spoke about earlier this week. And although there's considerable uncertainty, it may be up to 70% more transmissible than the old variant, the original version of the disease. It is with a very heavy heart, I must tell you, we cannot continue with Christmas as planned. In England, those living in Tier 4 areas should not mix with anyone outside their own household at Christmas, though support bubbles will remain in place for those at particular risk of loneliness or isolation.
Okay, moving to India's fight against the coronavirus, Executive Chairperson of Biocon, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, has indicated that India could have at least 4 workable vaccine options by March next year. She's advised that it is in India's best interest not to rush with any vaccine just because they have been cleared in other countries.
The fact that, there is this allegation now that the rich countries have cornered all the vaccines, they have pre-ordered these vaccines, that puts out a very, a gloomy picture. Because as I was pointing out, and as Vikram has also pointed out, we manufacture the most vaccines. Then why should we lag behind? I mean, we have an equal right to it. We are one of the worst hit countries.
So Maha, let me answer that question in 2 ways. I think one thing we must understand is that the first vaccines to be approved through the EUA route are the mRNA vaccines. And as you know, these mRNA vaccines require ultra cold chains, which even the US and Europe finds daunting in terms of deployment. I think India will not be able to deploy these vaccines for quite a while yet. So I don't think we should focus on those vaccines. What we do need to focus on are the adenoviral vector-based and the inactivated whole virus vaccines that we are developing in India. And I think India actually does not have to worry about access to vaccines because it is, as Vikram said, the world's largest vaccine maker. And so from that point of view, I don't think we have to worry about people cornering vaccines. As I said, we are not in a position to deploy mRNA vaccines. I'm happy to see that we ourselves are developing an mRNA vaccine because we got the news that the Indian mRNA vaccine has been given permission to enter phase 1, phase 2 clinical trials. And the good news is I'm told that this vaccine actually is stable at normal refrigeration temperatures, which is very, very commendable. So let's see. I mean, it's quite a few months yet before we'll know about the success of this vaccine. But regardless of that, I think we are hopefully in a position to see these early vaccines, the Serum Institute, vaccine, which is really the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and of course the Bharat Biotech vaccines. These are the two that are most advanced. And hopefully in the next month or so, we might see some emergency use authorizations being accorded to these vaccines.
Well, this and much, much more on News18.com. News continues over here on CNN News 18.